Maximum Meathead Podcast. We are back with another episode of the Maximum Meathead Podcast, where we bring you the giraffes of fitness with a side of bullshit. We're your hosts, Muscle Bill and Punchy Paquette.
What's up, everybody? I gave Muscle Bill a challenge today. I said I was going to give him a word right before he threw up the intro, and then he had to work it in there somehow.
Whatever, it worked.
Good job. We bring you the giraffe of fitness.
You know how they're like the horses with extra long necks, but they're like zebras or whatever? There's that saying? Yeah.
Anyways, back on track.
We're here with Ruth Montgomery today.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Thanks for
What's up,
having me.
Ruth? And Ruth did something extraordinary today. She gave us a, what do you call that? Revelation?
Sure.
That our guests have been in a non-comfy couch this whole time. See, we thought we gave them this sweet couch, and what happened was we have two chairs. For those who can't see us, we have two chairs on the couch, and usually Muscle Bill and I sit in the chairs and our guests in the couch. Well, Ruth decided she wanted to take the chair today, and I love it because no one's done that. Then Muscle Bill went to try to sit on the couch.
It's real
not
weird.
Comfy at all, so now we're all sitting
I didn't know what to do
chairs.
with my arms.
And we apologize to all previous guests, but thank Ruth for pointing this out to us, something we never knew.
Glad I could be of service so early on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. It's great.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Just to start things off easy or not easy, but can you just talk a little bit about yourself? You've done a lot of really interesting things that we've never really touched on our podcast, that's for sure. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm in the world of personal development and I'm the founder of the Maven Project and Camp Maven. So the Maven Project is the idea that we're all Mavens and we all have that ability within us to excel in something that doesn't necessarily have to be our day job, but as a person, we don't often take that and actually own what we're good at and take our skills for as what they are. We often describe ourselves by our day job or by our role in the family as a wife or a husband or that kind of thing. So the essence of the Maven Project is really to recapture what you're good at and to celebrate it. And so then Camp Maven is an event where it's a women's only camp. Where you come and be a kid again with the idea that you as a child knew what your soul wanted, you know your soul purpose, and then as we grow up through society, we lose touch with what it is that truly makes us happy and we start to do what other people expect of us or what we feel we should do, and we kind of lose that sense of joy. So Camp Maven is really about coming back, finding that sense of joy and that sense of purpose that's within all of us. That's
awesome. That concept is it's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Get out of the norm, right? The norm of just living your day job and, you're
feeling stuck, I think, a lot of the
changing hours for dollars for a lot of people and just getting by without expressing who they are as an individual.
Yeah. Too many people will work for 30 years and then come into retirement and have no idea who they are, or their kids leave the home and they have no idea who their partner is anymore, and they've lost that connection because they've been so inundated with what they should do and just the grind of working an 8-hour day and then running to hockey practice, and then you maybe have a glass of wine to unwind at the end of the night and then bed, and then you repeat year after year. And it's just what's the point? There's no joy in that anymore. So
what is a Maven?
So a Maven is an expert in their field who seeks to pass knowledge on to others. And so the idea is that we're all Mavens, but we all have expertise that don't necessarily come from things that we would normally recognize. So I'm an artist, and that's not something that I often would say that I don't describe myself as that, but I'm very artistic. So kind of looking at those different things that are those hidden qualities within us, we can also be a Maven in them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've seen what you're talking about kind of shine through on a few people during this last pandemic season when people weren't able to go to their normal jobs, what they did to occupy their time. I know I bought some artwork off a woman I know who never did art before.
Yeah.
But now that she couldn't do her job at the spa, she started painting. She loved painting.
Yeah.
Started doing these. But I bought one. It's awesome, right? So it's kind of like what you're saying.
Yeah.
When once she got out of that bubble of the regular, she found
Yeah.
other things she was really good at. This concept sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I want to go, but as you heard, women's only, and I heard the story why, and I'm disappointed in you, men. We had a chance and we blew it.
Yeah. So when we first started the concept of Camp Maven, I invited about 15 women to my house to have a brainstorming session and 5 or 6 men. And it just happened that none of the men could make it that day. So through conversation, it became a women's only event. And there's multiple reasons for that. But yeah, it's very powerful.
I think it's smart to keep it a woman.
We didn't show up.
Yeah, we did show up. We'll get there.
Yeah, I'll be there, but I'm not coming.
Yeah.
Typical. Hey, we suck.
Ghosted.
Yeah. So maybe in future we'll do a men's only, but
sure.
yeah, definitely won't. Not anytime soon.
And you said you were across the pond there for a while.
Yeah. So I've lived
What
in.
was that for?
I've lived in a few places. So the first abroad experience was I did a French language exchange in grade 10. So I lived in Switzerland for 3 months with a family at the age of 16. And then I did my master's degree in Australia. So that was in Brisbane. And then I also worked for Disney Cruise Line. So I lived in the Bahamas for a year.
And your degree was in?
Design futures. Yeah. So my undergrad is actually interior design. And then I did design futures, which is the principle of everything that we design has a life beyond its designed life. But as a designer, it's our responsibility to recognize that. So whether it is something as far as like the landfill and where it's going, or how it will change human behavior. So an example of that, to make sense of it, is the car was created as a mode of transportation, but then it created the assembly line manufacturing system. It created the upper and lower class between who could afford a car and who couldn't. And then now, if you look at everything in this room has been touched by that one design. So our medical system, our farming, like everything has been kind of around that one design. So it totally transformed. Human
Talk
behavior.
about a butterfly effect.
Yeah,
right?
talk about some facts being thrown down there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So same with cell phones, right? Like that was meant to be telecommunications, and now like even our posture has changed as a human because we're like hunched over looking at our phones and on our laptops. And
our dopaminergic system and everything's all fucked now because of them.
Yeah, which was not the intention of the design ever. So design futures is really just looking at that and trying to look at the philosophy behind and the extension of like, where could this go?
Your description is way cooler than the title. Like
Design
the title is like,
futures?
all right, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. It's way over my head. Then when you described it, that's really neat. Just the effect of everything.
So I
Super
went
cool.
thinking I was getting like a master's in sustainability and design, and it was a mind-blowing experience. I was reading like philosophy texts and
No doubt.
Yeah, it was pretty intense year.
So what came about that Camp Maven was an idea, or how did that start?
So that's actually good because one of our questions from listeners, shout out Alana.
Oh, perfect.
So Alana, if you're listening, which you're probably not, we love you. How did Camp Maven start?
So the Maven Project started as one-day workshops with the idea that when we share from a point of vulnerability, we give other people permission to be vulnerable and share their story. So too often we go through life thinking we have to put on a facade of being perfect and you can't show your failures. It has to be success after success. So the one-day workshop started to really try to get entrepreneurs to come and share their story, to say like, this is where I failed. This is how I'm succeeding. I'm a real person, because that makes you more relatable to your clients. Camp Maven stemmed from those conversations of how badly disconnected we are from who we are and who we're wanting to be. Entrepreneurs have that in them where they're searching for that purpose again. And the general public sometimes doesn't, and they're in that routine of they're being stuck. So it really came from a lot of those conversations that we were having at the one-day workshops, and just that idea of when you're a kid, you do things purely out of passion and joy, and you can waste hours doing things without questioning why you're doing it or how you're doing it. And as adults, we lose touch with that. So like you're saying, with COVID happening, people have now got this time where they're finding, oh, I actually do really like to do art, and it's bringing me joy. So Camp Maven just kind of stemmed from all of that, in that when you're a child, you connect to it so innocently and you don't even realize that it's your joy. So it's really just trying to get back to that freedom and that space to do whatever it is that makes your heart happy.
Do you find, is there like an overall theme in the women who have been to Camp Maven of like something that's really common that they come back to or that they kind of rekindle into?
There's a lot of tragedy that brings women to Camp Maven. So there have been some really big breakthroughs in that sense of different life experiences, or they're in a transition period where their kids are leaving or that kind of thing. But Camp Maven is really cool in that women can come just for a really good weekend away, and they're just there for fun. And then some women are coming expecting a breakthrough. And sometimes, like, that variety, the women that don't expect a breakthrough and are just there to have a good time, have a few drinks, they end up having a breakthrough by the end of the weekend. So the fact that it kind of caters to all sides, and then how it works on the Saturday, you get to choose your agenda. So you get 4 to 5 different workshops that you can choose. So it's very individualized for each person. So you could do all active activities all day, or you could do all like self-love meditation kind of activities. So that allows for kind of whatever experience you want, and for you to push your comfort level. If you want to stay safe and you just want a good weekend, amazing. If you want to have that breakthrough, then you can choose those courses as well.
I bet you both extremes complement each other, because they probably find a middle ground where the people that just want to go be haywire probably bring happiness to the people that are breaking through, and the people getting haywire are probably getting something a bit more in-depth than they expected.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
And when you start to see, like, if you're there just for a good time, but you're starting to see other women have big, powerful breakthroughs, you have to pause and reflect on what's going on. And
in the inverse, the people that have been maybe struggling with something, they see this girl who gives no shits and she's running around just having a blast, talking to everyone, you know, like maybe they need to see some of that too. Yeah. So I think that the two extremes, it's funny that you say that. I think they always complement each other. You need that.
Absolutely.
You need that mix.
Yeah.
You said how many women were...
We've had as many as 150 attendees.
That is insane.
Yeah, and then we've got 30 to 40 speakers, volunteers throughout the weekend. Yeah.
So self-love, self-improvement camp, summer camp for ladies.
Yeah.
How long does it last?
It's 3 days, like
3
a
days?
Friday,
So a
Saturday,
weekend?
Sunday. Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds wicked.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So back to the initial question there, how did it start? But what gave you that idea, that concept? What was that spark where one day you're like, you know what, I'm going to start these workshops, and women or people in general are going to find out they're more than what they're doing? And
so that goes back to the Maven Project, and there's kind of a couple pillars. One, I started a network marketing company and recognized that the women I was trying to get to join the network marketing company loved the community that was there, but they didn't want to sell the products. So recognizing that there was nothing like that you didn't have to buy into to be a part of the community in this area, and just that the personal development, most women that I've encountered join a network marketing company because they're seeking the community that it offers, not necessarily because they've fallen in love with the products to start.
is that like
Arbonne or
Norwex, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Chef.
Okay, Monet and stuff like
any
that.
Of those ones. And that's not to say like across the board that's how it is. That was just my experience finding it.
One of the takeaways.
Right.
Yeah, was that the community and the personal development that you get from being a part of a network marketing company is incredible. Like, it's a really eye-opening experience. So that was part of it. Second piece was I was in a relationship that I was feeling like I wasn't having my voice heard, and being such a stubborn and independent woman, if I was recognizing that if I am feeling like I'm losing myself and my sense of self, how are the women that aren't as independent as me getting through this? So that was part of it. Another piece was I had a cousin commit suicide, and it totally disrupted my world. And he was a male, so that was partly why it was going to be men included as well, because I think had he had a community where he could have openly expressed what he was going through, it maybe wouldn't have stopped the suicide from happening, but it would have at least been less traumatic, I think, because it was a very traumatizing experience for our family, just with the events leading up to it and the situation of it. So that was a huge piece. I lost all sense of who I was and what was important through that. So those are kind of the three, like the big main ones. The other piece was I had started a business as an interior designer, so entrepreneur in Lucknow, Ontario, and was traveling all across the country in North America to attend conferences and events just to find a community myself of entrepreneurs, because there wasn't any events happening locally that I had found. So I decided that we needed them locally and wanted to start and kind of showcasing what we have and how many amazing businesses and business owners we have.
Sweet.
Yeah.
It's obviously needed.
Yeah.
You sold out how quick, did you say?
Yeah. So the first camp, it went viral on Facebook. We had like 130,000 views in 72 hours.
Holy smokes.
So when we launched tickets, we sold all 150 tickets in 12 hours.
Boom.
Yeah,
There, the
it was
demand is there.
awesome.
You're onto something,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And you had said too, just when we talked, I think about being an entrepreneur, it's hard to find a network of people who can relate to entrepreneurs. So a network of entrepreneurs that aren't necessarily, say, in the same network marketing company, but
Yep.
how do you relate to what I'm doing when you have no idea what I'm doing? So that's
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I was struggling because I had a lot of friends that were in a 9-to-5 and quite content in a 9-to-5, but really didn't get what I was going through, the struggles of it. And then because of the preconceived idea that you have to be successful, then you're trying to put on a show to pretend like everything's okay when there's a lot of struggles that you go through. And that was part, like, back to the facade of being an entrepreneur. You put on this show because you want your customers to think you're a successful business, but your customers will actually relate to you more as a human who's having failures and struggles. So it's finding that balance of like, yeah, my business is successful and I'm good at what I do, but also I'm human.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that concept even exists, that people think there isn't like all these failures behind these successes. I don't know where anybody has grasped this, because everyone that I know that's successful has built something, messed up a lot, or failed a bunch. Like I don't know anybody that was just like, hey, I'm going to try this, boom, millionaire. Now I got this huge following, blah, blah, I'm a huge success. Like that's never the case.
But I think, as you said earlier, though, a lot of it probably falls back on vulnerability, right? Like once you're successful, you are in a much more powerful position, or you feel more powerful, right? Because it's like, well, I made it all this way, I did all these things. And to share the failures that got you there to a bunch of people that don't know you, you could tell yourself, oh, it'll affect my business, all these things. Like, I don't want to be vulnerable because I'm already successful, and let's like loop it back through. Whereas, like you said, if you were vulnerable, then probably your customers would say, I can relate to that. I don't know what you're selling, but I like you now as a person, because that's, which is how we kind of started talking initially. Was I was going to do that speaking thing at 410 and you're working there and stuff. So we got talking about just, that's kind of the basis of where I wanted to go from too. Like I'll just stand at the front and be vulnerable for people, and just to let them know that it's okay to do that. You don't have to just keep all your shit inside. But yeah, I totally agree with everything, but it's such a neat thing that you've been able to get off the ground and just, be successful with, Yeah.
Well, and the success is hard to define as well, because of, like you say, you get up and you're vulnerable. You have no idea what those people are going to take and go home. There's no feedback to know, like, so there's an emotional hangover that comes with it of like, you've just poured your heart out. And then
you wonder,
did I say too much? Did I not say enough?
You're ghosted by a whole room of people.
Just hear crickets. You're like, all right then.
Exactly.
Check your Google reviews every day.
I'll go back to my whole.
But one thing that a mentor said to me, and I was really struggling with, like, well, when will this be enough? And my goal in my head, I always had, like, I want to impact 10,000 people. And she was like, well, what if that one person that you've impacted has now changed their life, and then they impact 10,000 people?
Yeah, the ripple
You'll never
effect,
know
right?
what the ripple effect is. You'll never have any idea how many people you've impacted. So even that one person, like, if you're hearing crickets, you're still implanting that idea that it's okay to be vulnerable. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
And most of the time, if something's impacted me, I'll just go dead silent.
Yeah.
And like numb. You'll
you'll reflect it. You're like,
about
oh,
it, right?
shit.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'd be the worst one for feedback. If I was at like one of your lectures or something, you'd probably look at me and be like, look at this idiot daydreaming. He doesn't even know where he is right now.
Stunned.
But that's usually when it hits you. You know.
Well, you're going through your files in your brain, thinking back, like, oh shit, like all that makes sense. But why? It's
funny how sweet your camp sounds. And I'm like, oh, I wish there's a camp like this, but I would never go to a camp with 150 dudes.
No, why not?
It just would. I'm not knocking your camp.
No,
and I'm
good.
just the concept. I was just thinking in my head while we're talking. I'm like, this is so sick. I wish there was a camp like this for dudes. But if there's 150 dudes and no girls, I would not go.
And that's why it's women's only.
Yeah.
Women are craving community and
Yeah,
that
like
connection, right?
yeah.
It's different with men for whatever reason.
It must be. It
There's
must
too
be
many
because I
hormones
just
in the
see that
room,
as a nightmare.
Yeah.
I don't really like dudes.
I think it'd be more of a nightmare with both, though. Like,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
got-
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because guys are just creeps.
Yeah.
Not
So-
even that. There's just like, there becomes a competition instantly.
Yeah, just everything, right?
Yeah.
It changes the whole atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like you said, whether they know or not, when a man enters a room, you know, like everyone's perspective changes. If it's a full,
Yeah.
It's just like a hormonal reaction. You have
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, you change and it's instantly goes back to that like animal nature of like, you have to impress the other sex, both sides, right?
yeah. Well, we were talking about, let's say there's 15 females in a room and one male walks in and you're saying, sorry, I don't want to butcher what
No,
you're saying.
that's all right.
You're saying all of a sudden they'll have a competitive edge without even knowing it.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. And I said, yeah, it'd be the same in reverse, right? There's 15 guys in a
Right.
room and one girl walks in, all of a sudden all the guys are competing. Then I asked her, think it's at the same level with the girls and the guys, that competition, or do you think it's worse between the guys? Because I find girls would maybe be worse, but they go about it differently. Guys would just be like, "Oh, I'll punch you in the head, man." You know what I mean? Like they'll just be brute about it, but girls will be like sneaky and catty.
I think the men would be more not upfront, but it's not to say anybody would just outright say we're competing now. But I think men are more vocal and more like outward, whereas women would maybe be more prone to be more quiet and like. I don't know. You would have to wonder more what's happening, but you know it was happening, but you'd be like, I'm not sure what.
It'd be scarier.
But there's a thing going on, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why women's only is great because there's no hierarchy system.
Yeah.
There's no competition. Like it removes that even to the point of like the women show up and some of them don't shower for 3 days.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
If
Let your
there's
leg hair grow. Let
Yeah.
it go. You know what I mean?
you throw a guy into the mix and you're doing your makeup.
Yeah.
and you're,
It's work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though probably nobody cares, but you
No.
just think they do. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just so ingrained in us.
For sure. Yeah.
So,
So no camp till 2021, you're saying?
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So,
COVID.
yeah.
When was it supposed to be?
June of this year. It's every
Damn.
June.
I feel for you big time.
Yeah.
So it's probably something you really look forward. How many years have you been doing this?
So this would have been year 3. It would have been the 4th camp.
Fourth camp.
Yeah.
And I know some ladies that have been part of your camp who've talked great things about it. I didn't even.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Nadine's been part of that
Yeah.
camp. I didn't connect the two together
Oh,
until
yeah.
like 5 minutes before we started recording.
Yeah.
I know all about her camp.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah, it's good. We've had some amazing speakers, so lots of knowledge in the area, and just some
So that's the
incredible
concept.
women.
It's activities and speakers. So
Yeah.
influential people in the community, females only, or is it?
We've had a bit of both. Mostly,
Okay.
we try females only if we can get a female.
Yeah.
If it's the activity that I'm looking for, then we have had a couple male speakers come in just because they're the experts in that. But yeah, primarily women if we can find them. And so, yeah, the Friday night is always like you just come, the bar is open, have a DJ, just trying to introduce them to their camp counselors, to their cabin mates, and to the women.
Sweet.
Saturday, they get to choose their workshops, and then we usually do some kind of evening activity. So last year was really powerful. We wrote like a poem for the full moon or new moon, I think it was, me and another lady, Amy, and we had 150 ladies say that poem about becoming a maven at sunset around a campfire on the beach. Like
dope.
it was so powerful.
Yeah.
Just everyone stepping into it. And then
I just got goosebumps on my neck right now.
it's so sweet. Just imagine that, man.
Yeah.
I said the first 2 words and started bawling. Like I couldn't
Sure.
even say it.
Awesome.
It was so
Yeah, because you
beautiful.
helped arrange the whole thing too. That'd be like a whole nother level.
Yeah.
You created the poem?
Yeah.
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 Between me
Then
and
all of a sudden
another
you got
girl,
this
Amy.
cult
That's deep.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was like,
That's not at all how she sees it, by the way. That's just my opinion.
no, it was more like a blubbering mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Less powerful.
It's about gratitude, probably, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it was
for sure.
huge.
Yeah.
And just like they were all stepping in like to the woman I am and the woman I'm becoming. And it was very powerful.
That's sweet.
So, yeah. And then, so we wrap up the camp with some kind of team building. So we've done scavenger hunt. We've done like a Fear Factor style amazing race, but all about their cabins and that team building exercise. So
Cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Have you ever had to kick someone out?
No.
No.
Thankfully.
No one's ever got rowdy?
No.
No. That's
No.
good. So
No.
far, so good.
Yeah. We've had a few ladies that have been, have missed their first morning sessions.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But
Turn
that's
up a
on
little
them.
too hard.
Sleep
Yeah.
it in.
Yeah.
That's-
So
Some need that too.
Yeah.
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 It's
no
all about,
judgment
yeah.
here.
You do you, boo boo.
Yeah.
self-care.
Exactly. And sometimes that like letting go is what you need. And if it takes alcohol,
Yeah.
fine. But yeah, just letting go and fully stepping
What did you
in.
say? Yeah, getting away from not to say you can't do it at home, but if you don't have responsibility,
Yeah.
then this
Whole
is the
different
time and the
pressure.
place, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think you always need to get a little sideways here and there.
yeah.
Once
Yeah.
a year.
Coming from Joel Paquetta,
Yeah. Once in a while.
just like a couple times a year or whatever.
Yeah. Yesterday.
And on another note, like into the healing stuff, like I'd like to talk about that a little bit because we just touched on it briefly before we started. But I did a session with you, like maybe what was it, a month and a half ago or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was something I had no idea was a thing until talking to you, and then you started doing it, and this whole concept of inner child and things, and like meditating, like I'm literally laying on my floor with my eyes closed and like getting talked through this meditation and like seeing stuff happen. It was crazy. Like I don't really know how to explain it, but
You can't explain that kind of
Yeah,
that
like-
voodoo.
Yeah.
I don't know. You
Yeah.
can't explain it.
it was very neat. Like it's to say the least. But I wondered
Yeah.
if you just how did you get into that? You obviously are doing it, but
Yeah, so that actually came from the time and space that COVID offered. So I was at a point kind of January, February, I knew I needed to do some deep inner work myself to kind of break through to the next level. And so I've done lots of modalities over the years of like different therapists and different meditations and worked with different business coaches and spiritual coaches. But this time I felt like I needed some energy healing. So I worked with an energy healer. And when we got into sessions, she was doing past life and lineage healing and going back like 9 and 12 generations in my lifetime to clear blockages that I carried with me into this lifetime. And once we cleared those, after a couple sessions, she acknowledged how quickly I could move my own energy. And so when you're in it, like it was crazy because she was in the States, I was at home, we were across Zoom, and you could feel like waves of energy moving through my body. And as she was talking about like cutting cords, like you could feel like your shoulders move and everything, like your energy just shifting all
Crazy.
through Zoom and meditation. But her calling in my higher guides and spirit guides and her spirit guides and higher guides and higher self and just working this magic. And so I started working with her to learn how to do energy healings and how to move other people's energy and how to do it properly and to call in only the good energy and not to call in and leave someone with any unfinished or negative energy. So yeah, I started doing it, and really what evolved from that was taking people in through meditation and visualization to connect to source energy, to connect and ground them in, and then meet them, their inner child. So call in their inner child and just do an introduction and see what messages the inner child had, what they needed to show them, what memories they needed to remind them of. So it's pretty powerful stuff.
and there was that the higher self was there. Is that what it was called?
Yeah,
The other one?
your
Yeah.
higher self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I think you
What's
really
the
should-
higher self thing?
It's like the bigger version of you, you know, if you
Yeah.
had like yourself,
Like looking at yourself?
but like a big brother style. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
DMT style?
I don't know. No, I'm not like in the room like a ghost, but it was just like in your mind.
The
Yeah.
idea of time is something that we have put on ourselves as
Right.
humans. So the idea that your higher self is that being and that part of you. Some people believe from any lifetime, some people believe from just this lifetime, but they can see into your future, into your past. So if you connect with your higher self, you can ask them questions about your past or your future. Some people will say, like, you can pick a specific date and ask them to show you what you're doing on that specific date.
Crazy.
And just kind of go in through the visualizations and see what they have to show you.
I have to try this.
Yeah, man. There was like 3 of me happening. There's like little kid me, and then there's like me right now, and then there's this like not me, but like I knew it was me thing. I can't. It's
Sounds
super
crazy.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
Sounds like something I wouldn't believe.
Right.
But I've experienced enough things that I didn't believe now in my life that I don't disregard anything until I try it.
That's exactly
so
what
I hear what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, and I'd need to try it because I've tried similar things that have changed the way I see things. Most definitely.
Yeah.
And Muscle Bill seems keen just by the look on his face when he was talking about it.
Yeah.
He seems sold on the idea. So I think maybe we gotta give this a shot.
I'm kind of the same way. Like I've been through so much stuff over the years, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
And this like introduced this other idea of spiritual healing and things. I'm like, I don't know anything about it, but I believe it could be a thing. Absolutely. I don't know if it'll work for me or if it'll apply or whatever, but I don't know, but I'm assuming you have to be open to the idea before you're ever going to get there, right?
Yeah.
But like, I'm going to do my best to do whatever you're telling me to do and just see what happens.
Right.
And it was just like, it was nuts. Like,
it was weird.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. It's like I had this thing in my throat. It felt like not that I was choking, but like I had this pressure, like right here, and like it took maybe 2 days or so to go away, but it wasn't there before we started. And then Ruth, she starts talking about energy blocking in my like this area.
Yeah,
I'm like, it was already there. It was already. And then I'm like,
it's kicking in.
Yeah, I'm not talking back, but I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, how did she know that?
Yeah, start to choke out.
Yeah.
Did you check, see if her hands were wrapped around your throat? Were your eyes still closed? Did you check? You should have peeked.
We were on Zoom. We were in
other town, man.
Towns. Yeah.
Okay. Damn, I tried to figure out her magic. I guess
it wasn't some weird
this
like
is a Zoom call. I feel the energy
pressure in your throat.
I feel it.
Anyway, it was just really neat.
Sick.
And like, you gave me some recommendations to do after and whatever for the day after and things and whatever. I did those, and then pretty much most of the next day I still had that same or similar feeling. Yeah. And then the next day it was just gone. Like
crazy.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like in that, I'll ask whoever's with you to show you a sign or to sense something in your body so that when you're in your human form, in your day-to-day, you can recognize. And like if you get that same feeling in your throat, it'll bring that connection back to that moment and hopefully trigger something there as far as like a remembering.
Connect the dot.
Yeah.
But you didn't even know it was there.
No. So it's all like when I'm in channel, I'm feeling like where the energy is blocked in different people. So like if I'm called to your throat, it's usually your throat chakra because there's some point in your life where you haven't spoken your truth or you've stayed quiet in order to protect yourself or protect someone else. So it's really about opening that up and knowing that your voice is worthy of hearing, worthy of speaking your truth and just sharing. And so it's all your different chakras. There's different connections to all of that. So it's just, there's so much our body can tell us. And then we manifest, our body will manifest into like sickness and different like physical pains because of the energetic blockages. So,
and I believe that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
In like other regards, I feel like you can make that connection and really mess things up.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't that make sense for your talk? It sounds absolutely insane to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. It sounds insane. But there's a lot of stuff that sounded insane that I'm all about now.
Yeah.
I've had a guy made me breathe and had me bawling like a little girl, and I didn't know why. You know, or a little boy. Sorry, I shouldn't say little girl. It could be either one. Yeah. Little boys cry, little girls
little
cry.
kid.
Yeah.
Younger me.
As we were saying earlier, men are taught not to cry as a little kid, but you should as well.
I guess, yeah.
It's important for boys to know and men to know that
I would
it's
still
okay.
tell my kid not to cry.
Why?
Like, suck it up.
Why,
You're a
though?
man.
But that's the preconceived
Because
conditioning.
I know, but I like that.
Okay.
I like that. I really do.
Would you tell your daughter that?
No, I let her do whatever she wants.
Just because she'll be wrapped, or
Daddy's
have
girl.
you wrapped around her? Got it.
I love girls. Boys don't really care.
Parenting 101.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, like I just don't really like okay, prime example. I love babies, so it'd have to be an older kid, far from like a baby. Let's say like when do the kids turn into brats? When do you guys turn into brats? Like 8 years old.
Like
probably.
3.
Like see, like let's say I see an 8-year-old, I'm driving, I see an 8-year-old on a bicycle, all of a sudden he crashes. I'd be like, get up, boy.
Right.
If I seen a little girl cry, I would slam on, e-brake, turn on the four-way, run over that girl, make sure she was okay, right? It's just the way I'm programmed. It's probably not right whatsoever, but...
Yeah, but it's programmed in all of us, right?
Yeah,
so
I guess.
Stepping in, like, we're kind of coming into a world where it's okay for boys to cry and it's okay for girls to be tough, and really stepping into just your own masculine and feminine energy. And that's something I really focus on with the energy, is that we all have masculine and feminine energy. And when you're in your truest form and in your soul purpose, you're embodying both, and they're in balance for yourself. But all of our balances could be different, but we have a bit of both in each of us. So
I think just thinking about what Joel's talking about here, I'm listening, but I'm also thinking, I'm like, I don't disagree completely, but I also don't agree completely, you know, like,
but like at the same time, I'm not I won't do this other stuff because it's going to make me look feminine, right? Like I'll go jump in with the Zumba girls and punch, kick, dance away, shake my booty with them. I don't care about that kind of shit. You know, I'll see like something that's amazing, I'll start crying. I'll be like, oh, it's amazing. I don't care. But like you scratch your elbow, you fall on the ground. Like, come on, man, suck it up. Or if this girl's having troubles, like pick her up. I don't care if you're having troubles, like you help her, right? You know what I mean? Like, I have that kind of.
I think, I don't know. It's tough. It's a slippery slope, right? Because if you were to say, like, it's not necessarily worthy of crying, it's like, all right, there's a time and a place for sure. But also, like, I think not most of the time, a lot of the time, kids cry with fear, right? Or embarrassment. And not to say you can't cry with embarrassment or fear as an adult, but I think, like, that taking a second to assess, like, okay, this is my natural reaction. That's fine. Accept that. But then assess, like, does it really hurt that bad that I need to cry about it and just like lay on the ground for a while or not? Like it's just, that's, I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but like that taking that second, I think is important either way, and just acknowledge what you're doing without thinking. And then maybe just think about it for a second too. Like I think there's benefit to both. But
even in that, girl or boy.
Absolutely. Oh, there's no sex involved with that. Yeah. Cause it'd be the same, like a little girl falls and scratches your knee. Like, absolutely. Maybe it does hurt that bad, but also like stubbing your toe, it only hurts for a second. And then like, okay, it doesn't hurt anymore. Like, I don't know. Am I going to cry about it for an hour? No, because it didn't hurt that much, you know. But I've also cried for an hour in my life. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, I don't know. I don't think there's a right and wrong. It's just a very interesting little dynamic, you know. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just interesting how ingrained it is in us, that like that difference between man and woman. So there's no right or wrong answer, I don't think.
No.
It's interesting, everyone's perspective. And like we all come from different backgrounds. So how you're raised and how you're parented and all of that plays into that too, right? Of what's acceptable or what's the norm.
Right.
Yeah. Love girls and fight boys. Yeah. That's how I got raised. Yeah. I'm still okay with it. We're definitely in an age where like my mentality is kind of getting attacked, I find, because I'm getting generalized in a category that whole toxic masculinity there that I was talking about before. And I didn't know nothing about it. I still don't know. I looked up the definition and I seen a few of the traits, and I'm proud of some of those traits, right? Obviously there was some that we're no good, like where you think you're above everyone else and things like that. Like obviously that's no good. That's just don't be an ass, you know what I mean? Right. But it's on my mind today, this whole masculinity thing. But I'm like an advocate of it. I think more, I don't know. I got to gather my thoughts on it a bit more because I'm emotionally thinking about it right now rather than being rational and putting my ideas out there. But I think there's a little bit of some good to this toxic masculinity. And I don't think we should wash it all the way out or categorize. Like I got people just on my social media that they see my social media, right, where I'm like, rah, 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 punch, kick, shoot guns, blah, blah. And I'm thrown in this category. Meanwhile, it's like,
but
whatever.
Are you showing videos of you crying or of the days when you're having a down day?
But who wants that?
Right. So you're depicting one, but it doesn't mean that's your entire essence. No,
and I don't, like when we're talking about those failures and all that, I'm the first guy that'll tell you my life has been 90% failures. And this guy that I was telling that to think it was at work or something. I'm like, yeah, 90% of my life's failures. Like, don't talk like that, man, blah, blah. I'm like, no, it's not a bad thing.
It's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah, like
Sure.
you talk to anybody that's tried new things or tried to achieve goals or went for the pursuit of something, you're going to fail and fail and fail. Like, I'm okay with life being 90% failures. Like today, wakeboarding, I smashed my face, 9 times. I landed that jump once. I posted the video. Well, I did post a video of me smashing, but like, just because you see the video of me landing this jump, everyone's like, oh, okay, Joel knows how to wakeboard now. Guy thinks he's good at everything. No, I spent the day smashing, drinking the lake, like choking out to land this stupid jump once. It's that's why I don't understand where people have this concept of we have to show failures, because I think everyone should understand that behind success there is a long line of failure.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah,
in the world of social media, we showcase our successes.
Yeah.
And it's hard to put that up.
Which I think is fine too. I don't think we need to show our failures, but I guess we do if people don't understand that or if it's giving people the wrong image.
But how about this? Is that even your responsibility to give a fuck what they're thinking about your life?
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, if you think that all I do is post my successes and therefore I'm arrogant and I'm this and I'm that, that's totally cool by me. Because fuck you for making those assumptions, and I don't care about your opinion. Like, if for yourself you choose to use your social media in a manner to depict yourself in a more full picture, failures, happiness, sadness, whatever.
Good for you.
You do you. I don't care. I'm not judging you. But if you choose to judge me for posting what I choose to post, fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I don't like. I'm not going to take that on, and I'm not going to.
And I'm with you 100%. And the only reason why this thing got to me today was because, first off, I respect this girl's opinion.
Right.
She's a great girl. And I thought that this meant I don't want to be a bad thing for girls. Like, that bothers me. You call me whatever you want, but don't call me like a bad thing for women. I love women, like I want girls to be happy. Like, I'm the opposite of that. So don't throw me in this category that kind of depicts the opposite. So it's like, it's digging at me. I want to know more about it now. I wish I had more time to discuss this with you, because you probably have a great view on things. And you've talked to a lot of different women, probably on various subjects that are deep like that, right?
Yeah, and I think it comes, though, like Bill was saying, like other people's expectations and assumptions. There comes a point where you have to just be so sure of yourself that if you're doing it because it brings you joy or satisfaction, that's it. End of sentence. Doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. So if at the end of the day you're not a toxic masculine entity, then that's great. That's it. You don't need to prove it to anyone because you know, and you can sleep at night knowing that. It also makes you kind of question, like, what else is this girl seeing in her life to put you in that light? Like, there's so many other things coming into play for her to be able to state that about you. And it's probably a good observation, but take it as an observation, and that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's
Well, she doesn't hate me because she's not opposed to going out for dinner.
Yeah.
But she says I'm a toxic, masculine type guy.
It's kind of like pain, though, right? It's an awareness that your body brings to something. So it's like, hey, your hand's on a hot thing. Your body says that's hot, and you should move it. And then it's like, okay, but is it hot enough that I'm going to burn myself? Am I okay? It's like an assessment tool. And you could potentially use this as the same thing. Like, oh, some people may perceive me this way based off of this thing.
Yeah.
Is that the way I perceive myself? Like, is this just a projection of me, how I see myself, and then I'm therefore putting it outward to the world?
Yeah.
Or is that just me posting what I want to post because who cares?
Yeah.
And that's it. So like, there's no right or wrong. It's just like checking yourself and then carrying on.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you say? Yeah.
It's awesome, like, to have that reflection from someone else to see what they're seeing too.
Yeah,
because
I find it neat.
Yeah,
Sure.
It's awesome. We get so far into it that you don't really question it sometimes, and sometimes you do need to like take a step back and just check in. Like, are you doing this for you? Or are you doing this because of other people's expectations? Or so just to be able to take a moment and reevaluate where you're at.
Well,
It's
what
awesome.
what is sparking with me is I want to change it to positive masculinity and have guys that are like me
Have a pickup.
be classed under this category
Yeah.
instead.
Sure.
That's actually what is sparking in my head. Like, all right, what's wrong with these people? Okay, we don't want these people. They're bad. I don't want to be classed in that. I need to start a new genre where me and the like-minded
good.
people are going to get thrown in that, like the good guys.
Perfect.
So here's a question I just thought of now. What's one thing you've heard from somebody else or somebody else's perspective about you that surprised you?
Oh, that's a good question. Way to put me on the spot with that one.
Mic
yeah.
drop.
Yeah, that's
Don't mic- yeah.
that's a tough one right there.
Yeah, can I turn that back on you while I think about my answer?
Yeah, so an example that came to my mind right away was being intimidating in a lot of situations that I didn't think I would ever be intimidated in, and like things like eye contact, like specifically with women. It's like I didn't think that was a thing. But then I didn't realize a lot of men don't make eye contact with a lot of women on a regular basis, apparently. But it was like it's in being engaged. It's like having a conversation with you is intimidating. And I was like, why? Like, well, I can feel like you're there and I'm there and you know that. And I'm like, right. But that's intimidating. I'm like, okay, I didn't get it for a bit. And it's like, because that's not what happens usually. It's like you're looking at your boobs and stuff. I'm like, well, okay, I do that too. But it's like, you know what I mean? Anyway, I wasn't aware that was a thing. It's like, I am now intimidating to some people based off of my engaging in a conversation just by sitting at a table, It's like, huh. Like,
Well, just being confident like you are is probably intimidating to some
well,
people.
yeah, unless I'm not timid and bent over a lot. Anyway, it's just like
Well, you're just out there.
Yeah.
You got big
Show
old
up.
mutton chops, and I don't think it's just because the stare, man. I think
No, it's just one thing. Like I obviously
as he's
understand.
sitting there in a tank top and all linked up with a big beard.
Yeah.
I was staring at this girl. She thought I was intimidating. No shit, Muscle.
It was a girl. It was a girl I dated, though. Anyway.
No shit.
Anyway, yeah, it was just a neat thing I never thought about, and it was an eye-opening thing.
Yeah.
So
The thing that comes to mind, and I'm sure if I thought about this, there'd be a lot
Sure.
deeper answers. But that I go after what I want and I dream stupidly big, and like no dream is too small. And that scares a lot of people because it's like, who are you to think that big or think that you can? Like, who are you to do that? And I guess from the side of that, like it threatens other people because their dreams are just surface level and they're okay with that. But then there's a confidence and a competition that sees me as being overconfident or cocky or that kind of thing. So that's what comes to mind is like the intimidation factor
Sure.
of like, I don't know where things will be, but I know that I'm not going to play it small. Like I'm going to keep pushing. And if that means that there's 10 failures for the one success, then that's how it is. Yeah, I don't know if that kind of answers.
absolutely, yeah. It is other people's perspectives of you is very interesting to know. Not that they necessarily should make a difference, but just that awareness of like, I have no idea what this person or that person or these 10 different attributes that people have of me that I have no idea about.
Yeah.
Self-awareness is one thing, but you can't have self-awareness in a full picture without other people because you're only yourself, or you don't have third-person
right.
view.
That's
right.
So like, I think probably people think this shit, but you don't have any idea.
No,
You
and
never know.
one of the big lessons I learned early on in personal development is that we spend so much time thinking about what other people think of us, but they also spend time thinking about what other people are thinking of them.
Oh, yeah.
So no one's actually
No one
thinking
actually
anything
cares.
about you because they're so busy worried about what you're thinking of them.
You're stuck in a loop.
Yeah.
100%.
So it really, like, you just have to be true to yourself. But I think that vulnerability and having those conversations and allowing people to give their perspective, but then talk about it.
Right.
Like, don't take it and then not go into it. Like, why does it bother you that
Yeah,
they
the
say
fear of
that or-
judgment too
Yeah.
is just like huge, right? You don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't just acknowledge it, but act upon it too,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Everyone's all about this self-awareness thing, but I find, like you said, they're missing the next step, which is, okay, it's fine. Actually, I guess awareness is probably the biggest step,
Yeah.
but equally as big as doing something about it. Otherwise, you're still at step one. You just
Yeah.
know you have problems.
Yeah. And if it bothers you, why does it bother you? So
Yeah.
what are you going to do about it if it does?
What can I ask you a question? What was the biggest thing, or the one that stood out the most that you didn't expect? Someone gave like a feedback or a success they got that you didn't expect would happen from the camp. Do you know what I mean? What was the most like
Like a breakthrough.
like the weirdest breakthrough that happened at your camp that you didn't expect?
Like a positive? you
Yeah, like a
mean?
positive one.
The biggest one that comes to mind was I had a woman that told me that when she signed up for camp, she was suicidal. And coming to camp was the pivot point to that's not a thought anymore.
Right.
Well,
So-
that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. So
No
we've had
crickets on that one.
no.
Yeah.
Hurrah!
We've had two ladies that have fully shared their story in that aspect, and it's not my short story to share, obviously. But
No.
yeah, considering that this part of the reason was because of my cousin committing suicide, that was like, okay, I can be done if this
Yeah.
is
Well,
all
exactly
I needed
right.
to do.
Your 10,000 satisfied goal there. That one right
one
there
person.
should
That's
be
it.
like
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
1 out of 10,000. So far, so good.
yeah. So yeah, that's the biggest
That's sweet.
impact that's come from it. That really like sits at home with me, right?
Yeah.
Really weighs a lot. So
Good for you.
yeah.
So have you, not that you necessarily need to or should, but have you thought at all about how you can incorporate like or what aspects of camp kind of brought that about? Like if she was in these thoughts that she had, and then was there any specific attributes or events that you guys did to try and then incorporate more going forward? If that's a vein you kind of want to explore more and be like, all right, we can just pump all this positivity in a sense in
Yeah.
and like more focused towards a certain way, or is that something?
I think honestly, and this is just generalizing, I think the vulnerability that comes at
Yeah.
a place like camp and in any women-led community, when you have that vulnerability, as soon as you share that you're going through something of struggle and someone else says, oh, me too, you instantly, it's like, okay, the weight is lifted. It's not all on me. I'm not the only one experiencing this. I can fully share my story without fear of judgment because they understand and they get it. And so just having that place where I don't know how long these women had kept that to themselves or if they had shared it with anyone else but that's a very scary place to be in your own head if you're not sharing it with anyone. And so getting that off your chest and expressing it and just knowing you're not in it alone and you're not in any of this alone, like also the fact of how valuable your voice is and your experience is. We need each and every one of you for whatever reason, but we need you. So kind of going on that leg of it too, that all of the women coming to camp are equally as important as the
Right.
next.
Do you get into things like soul path then and soul purpose at camp as well? Like, is that a thing where obviously you can't do that on a large scale in 3 days, but just that awareness that potentially on the vein of suicide, like your soul path is probably not that. You know what I mean? Is that a thing?
Yeah, and we could go down a whole different tangent on that.
We're welcome to. Yeah.
I don't know if we have time for that
Well,
today.
I don't know.
We do get into like numerology. That's definitely one of the like workshops.
Okay.
Jenny, as you know, has come.
Yeah.
She's done numerology. We've
What's
had so numerology is like looking at your birth date and adding the numbers together of
Okay.
like the month and the year.
Okay.
And then you have a soul number. So different people do it differently, but you have a karmic number that you're here in this lifetime to pay a karmic debt from a past life. You have a soul number, so you're like your soul purpose for this lifetime, a destiny number for where you're ultimately going to end up. There's 2 others that I'm missing, but there's a whole realm of numbers that kind of
Okay.
sets like what your gift is, what your purpose is in this lifetime.
Right.
So the different experiences that you have are all meant to fulfill that kind of life path and life destiny. So numerology is just one of the tools that some people
Okay.
use.
Yeah, I never heard of that.
Yeah.
You ever done any like psychic readings and stuff?
I don't think so.
Maybe we should get him. We should go down to that game.
Yeah.
I really think
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll talk about that a bit. Jenny Shemansky, just big shout out to her. She's
Yeah,
a
she's
mentor
awesome.
of mine. She does a game called the All Game. And so it's intuitively led, like she's a psychic. And so it's a 4-hour board game. You play with 3 to 4 people ideally. And you're playing with a dice against the universe, and the universe is you're getting different cards and meditations, and she's asking you questions, and it's all very intuitively led. That like the card that you pick would mean nothing to me, but it would mean everything to you. And there's a lot of tears.
Yeah,
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's
man.
like a 4-hour
Yeah.
therapy session.
All this stuff just,
Yeah.
I fear it a little bit just because it's just
Yeah.
above what I understand.
This is all this year for me too, man. I went and saw her based off of your recommendation and like did a bunch of card things and whatever. And I didn't know this lady from a hole in the ground, not at all. She starts
You bought it? Like you
Dude.
bought into it?
Yeah.
Oh, dude! But like you can't not. I don't understand
Yeah.
how you can't. Like
Yeah.
she said, like asked me all these questions and like I didn't answer them. She's like, think about this, blah blah blah. Does this make sense to you? And then like literally all these fucking light bulbs came on in my brain. I'm like, how are you talking about this right now?
Yeah.
I'd never met you before. You know nothing about me.
Yeah, Jenny does past life stuff as well. She does mediums, so she'll speak to people that have passed, and then psychic stuff as well.
Man, yeah.
So she pulls in a little bit of everything, and it's magic.
It was super neat. Yeah, like,
Very cool.
This
Yeah.
board game sounds interesting.
It's very
Sounds like
interesting.
Ouija style.
does she allow drinking?
Yep.
So there you go. We got John. We can bring some booze down.
I mean,
I'll drive.
you-
We're good.
Chances are
people.
it's very emotional, and
Yeah.
you're going to have some breakthroughs. So probably not the best to get to have
Not,
too many
but like a
drinks.
glass of wine or something. Yeah,
we
sure.
absolutely have a glass of wine while we're
Yeah.
doing it. Yeah. No, there's a whole world once you get into the spiritual development and
Yep.
into like a soul awakening. And that's a lot of what I'm kind of being led down, is taking people into a soul awakening of what that looks like, what tools are available to you to use. Because when I first started kind of going through that realm, there was very few people that you could trust, because it does feel a little bit like woo woo and out
For
there.
sure.
So it's
and
hard
and
to
you know, like that there for every one person that's legit
Yeah.
Yeah.
doing something, there's 100 trying to make money off it that aren't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's no different than
Exactly.
personal
Yeah.
training, man.
So like everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's some tools like some people use crystals, some people use numerology, but some don't jive and they just won't make sense to you. So
Yeah.
really learning to trust what works and what doesn't for
Right.
you. So yeah, that's a lot of where I'm kind of going, is to take people and help guide them through that of
Cool.
an introduction to
Yeah.
spiritual or soul awakening.
Cool. What do you think about these drugs that are catching a lot of hype for spiritual journeys, like DMT? Have you heard of any of that? Ayahuasca?
Yeah.
Have you experienced any of those?
I haven't. I would just be I would like to do the ayahuasca
Yeah.
sometime. I would be very cautious and do a lot of research about who my guide was for
Yeah.
it. I feel like any of that, you have to be very trusting in who's taking you on that journey. And again, like you say, some of it could be because it's a hype right now. So people are spending a lot of money to go to these retreats.
Yeah,
and
with
that
the
kind of thing.
shaman. And I got invited to one in Costa Rica
Yeah.
with a guy who I didn't think would be interested in this, but he said it's going to change my life. He's done it before.
Yeah.
And I'm really contemplating doing it, but I don't
Yeah.
know, being in the jungle, a bunch of dudes, I don't know, taking drugs.
It could be dangerous for the other guys.
Yeah, I would do some research.
There better
on
be
who else
chicks
will
on
be
the
there.
island.
Yeah, but I've heard like
You'd be open to it though, maybe?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I have heard some people had the experience like you purge a lot, so you spend the first couple of days or hours, I'm not sure, but you're just puking and getting all of the toxins out of you. So that terrifies me a little bit.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fun.
No.
But the relief would probably be all right.
Yeah, and that it takes you into a whole different level of
Yeah.
spiritual awakening. So
Yeah.
It makes sense, though. You turn off all your brain and you just get into a bunch of wildness.
yeah,
I'm definitely debating if I want to try DMT one of these days.
yeah. That I
Mike
don't know
Tyson's a
much
big
about.
advocate of it. Joe Rogan, a couple
Yeah.
of guys that I listen to a lot, and it's really made Mike Tyson a peaceful person. So that's caught my interest.
Right.
How much he taught. I just listened to the podcast there, and he's like, "I've died. I've realized what's important, what's not important." And you can see the transformation. The guy's a whole different human now, right?
Totally.
Where it's all about love and respect, and just the way he talks.
He's
It's
still
like,
a killer.
oh, he's still. Then he starts talking about his old days, and he's like, "Rah, rah, rah," he gets all angry.
Yeah.
But him speaking on it, it'd just be neat. I don't know. I think it'd be neat to
Yeah.
open up the mind.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much open to anything. I want to try some of your
Well,
magic
potentially, maybe
here.
some of this stuff can get you interested a little bit more.
Yeah, well, like
then
it
go
would
down
get my
some of
it would get
Baby
my feet wet,
steps,
right?
yeah.
Exactly. Because I think, like personally, if I do magic mushrooms, I lose my marbles. So I mean, if I don't want to take anything insane,
Yeah.
I got to definitely do baby steps. Because anything that goes into my mind, I have like I resist it. Right. That's
And
why.
you definitely will have a better experience if you're open to exploring that.
Yeah, with someone that I
Letting
know
your
that's
guard down.
friendly and all that. And
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not going
I'm
to
not
choke you out
worried.
when
Yeah,
you're laying on
not
the floor in your
choking out.
chakras.
yeah. How's your neck chakra?
We'll do it over Zoom, so there's
Yeah.
no fear.
He's fighting himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your own stuff coming up.
Did you get questions? Is that what you've been knocking off from people
Yeah, I
on
just
Instagram?
been knocking off my questions. Yep.
Do you have any more?
Was there
Is
any
that
more
it?
from?
I wondered about some more inner child stuff. Like, it's super neat, and I don't know much about it either. But we could do a speed round too. Don't matter.
Want to do a speed round? I could do it off the top of my head here.
All right. Yeah. Do
Do you want to start?
All right. Well, this one's kind of loaded.
We'll
so
go back
it's
and
not,
forth. We'll go
it's
back
not
and
so
forth.
much a speed round question, really, but
Mine
it
will be
is.
speed.
What's your favorite season in knowing you? And season has more than
Oh.
one definition. Yeah.
Oh, well, that changes things.
Yeah. So this could be a lot longer than a speed round.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So weather-wise, summer.
Yeah.
I definitely have messed my body up by spending a full year in Australia and then Bahamas. That I definitely have a bit of seasonal depression now. So I need the sunshine.
Yeah.
So summer for sure. Season though, as far as like entrepreneurship, I like the winter season where you're in hibernation and really allowing everything to kind of settle and process. And then to go into the start of spring where you're getting all of the new ideas and the new growth.
that wasn't that long. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never left alone in your life, or always left alone?
In what sense?
That's it.
Always left alone.
That's what I pictured.
Yeah.
Tough one.
I like people and
Yeah,
stuff, but
not
if I
that
never
much.
got my alone time,
No,
okay.
He'd be angry.
I need my own space.
What's your least favorite word?
I don't really have one.
Nothing.
No.
All through camp, no positive messages, negative.
I think
Okay.
I go to I think negative in that sense of like there's nothing.
Negative is, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right.
So, no.
If you're about to walk out to a fight, this is your debut fight, what song would be playing?
Probably right now, Rise Up.
Rise Up by
Yeah.
who?
I'd have to look up the
Is that old
appropriate-
song?
Yeah.
Rise up.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I know
You know it?
Yeah.
Say
Yeah.
it. Say it, Muscle.
I just did.
I'd have to look up the artist.
Rise Up,
Rise. I only know the two words.
which happened to be the title.
It happens to be title
Well done.
track.
Well done.
You probably know the song.
No, I do. It's in my mind. Absolutely. It's like an older song. I don't know if it's like Motown or something, but
I'll look it up
It's
after
all
this
upbeat.
podcast.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
I don't
See
know.
what
I'll
you're
send
working
it to
with
you.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put it on my first song for my boxing class.
Perfect.
That's a perfect one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I hope it's not a downer.
No, it's not. It's not.
Favorite Disney character?
Cinderella.
Why?
I just have always loved her. Also, Ariel, Little Mermaid. I would love to be a mermaid, swim underwater all the
Makes
time,
sense.
and be a princess. I think I was a princess in a past life.
Was Ariel a princess?
Yeah. Triton's her father. The king.
I always thought, okay, I haven't seen that movie in a long time, I guess.
Yeah.
Thought she's okay.
I don't think I've ever seen that movie in my life.
Oh my goodness,
Is it
boys.
Little Mermaid?
Yeah,
Yeah.
The Little Mermaid.
Yeah. No, I've never seen it.
I don't know. She
So
seemed like an
with
outcast.
quarantine, fun fact,
Yeah.
my siblings and I we have 2 movies left. We've watched all 50 of the Disney animated movies,
On Disney Plus?
starting back from the original of Snow
Holy
White.
smokes.
Yeah. So we've done themed like meals and stuff to go
Oh,
with
yeah?
it.
That'd be
It's-
awesome.
Yeah,
Enjoy it to the
quite the
fullest.
extensive
Yeah, no
project.
doubt.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Phobias. What's your biggest phobia?
Heights, probably.
Ooh.
I will do things at height, like I've skydived, I've gone bungee jumping, I've done high ropes, like all of that. It terrifies me.
Yeah. Good. At least you do it anyways.
If you could go one place in the world, where would it be?
Everywhere. Antarctica is a unique one. but I
kind
would
of
love to
duration? You just want
travel
to go there
everywhere.
forever?
I would,
I
no,
don't know
just a
about
day
that.
or two. Yep.
I think you can be seasonal depressed for the rest of your life.
Yeah. No. I would love to travel to every country.
Okay. Yeah.
Ultimately. Yeah.
Well, that's big news. Yeah. That is definitely dreaming big.
Yeah.
Without judgment, that is a big dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not though?
Absolutely.
If you had one sentence to tell someone advice
COVID.
on how to survive life, what would you say?
Find what makes your heart happy and do more of that.
Well done.
Yeah. Wow.
I didn't stump you at all on that one.
I would have been stumped for sure.
Yeah, me too. But that makes sense.
No, you got to just trust it. Trust what lights up your soul.
Yeah. I think that's a good end on that one.
Speed round done. You did it, winner.
Winner, Gagnon.
Perfect.
Winner, gone
Well, thanks for having me. Do you have any more?
No, well, we didn't touch on inner child, but
Oh, do you want to touch on that
Yeah.
still?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to know more about that.
Yeah. What do you want to know? Like in the spiritual sense or in like,
just like anything, really. It seems like something that a lot of people are out of touch. And like you said, what brings you joy. And that's something I can relate to in the sense of, as you know, but like you lose just kind of that awareness around what brings you joy and happiness in life. And it's like you just have this never ending search for, to be happy. But
Yeah.
like, is there anything that you find in commonly or inner child stuff that helps? I don't know.
Like, how do you prod out their inner child?
so like we're constantly looking and searching for that purpose, but your inner child knows. So what I often tell people is like, what could you do and spend hours doing as a child? What brought you so much joy that you forgot about what time it was, or you were late to getting to dinner?
How old are you talking to?
Under the age
Is
of
this
7.
pre-puberty or
Yes.
post-puberty?
Under the age of 7.
Because it all makes sense now.
Yeah.
Living my
7
life. Check.
and under.
Oh, 7 and under. What the hell did I do when I was a little kid?
Yeah. That's a good question.
Yeah, we lose touch of it. So that's really like coming back to what your soul, like what lights you up and what gets you excited as a kid, because that, if you could do that and spend hours doing that, but then you were told for 15 years that you should go to school and be this or be that, you've forgotten that like it was okay to just play with Lego and build things, or it was okay
Right.
to just do art.
It's funny you say that because Lego was one of the first things that came to my mind.
Yeah.
I was a big Lego guy.
Yeah, so you're building things,
Legos
right? You're
and games,
creating. Yep. So and then how did you do that as a kid? So I would say now as an adult, like honestly, go get some Lego and see if you can get lost in playing Lego for a few hours. Or what did that fulfill for you? Like, was it the building and the
Right.
creative aspect of it?
Distraction,
Or
yeah.
was it like the destruction of it afterward? Like what piece of that was it that you loved?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
find something in that you can do now. And really just even like giving yourself an hour every couple of weeks to do that, and just to bring that back, that moment is just for you, for no one else, no one's expectations. It's solely just to fulfill you.
I do a lot of that. I'm
Yeah.
very selfish with my time. Yeah.
It's good though. Not enough
Like
people
I
are.
wake up and I decide what's one thing. Like today I went to first hit the gym, then I went and ran stairs. I don't like running,
Yep.
but I like running stairs because it feels like I accomplished a goal that day.
Yep.
So it's not a useless day.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Went and ran stairs. Oh, big check mark off the list. I did something productive for my health. Meanwhile, I didn't really do too much. But then I went wakeboarding
Awesome.
because I wanted to.
Yeah.
But every day I ask myself that, what do I want to do? Most of the time it's working out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that working out, even though it's my home base that we've talked to in so many other podcasts, it's like a must. It's also my, like you say, hour
Yeah.
a day, at least a day,
Yeah.
where it's just all me.
Yeah. And if you do it because you fully love it, not because you're doing it because you feel like you have to go to the gym for
No.
an hour every day, it's totally different.
Yeah.
So people that find they're in a routine of the gym every day, but it's not doing anything.
Right.
Yeah. No, it brings me absolute pleasure. It's not a,
Yeah. It's amazing.
it's not a forced thing.
So what's one thing that you've come into touch with in your own life?
Art, being artistic.
art, yeah. Sure.
So this summer we've been renovating a cottage, and so the interior design piece, I don't. I love interior design when I can be creative and kind of let that free flow go. When it's on a timeline or restricted, then I it's not the right season of my life for it right now. So having that chance to be able to just like pull out pens and paper and pencil crayons and markers and start playing and just being creative with the design is very therapeutic for me. Yeah. So just getting into that. I've done a bunch of watercolors, and we had a night pre-COVID or at the beginning of COVID where we all got like acrylic paints out and we all painted canvases and just really like getting lost in that. So yeah, art's a big one for me, for sure.
Kind of everything you're doing is an art to itself too. Like this whole entity you're organizing, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of artistic values inside it all. Like you were saying, activity days, days where it's more getting in touch with yourself, you know, whether it's, what the hell, I can't think of the name. Meditation. Like it's all, your whole thing you built is also a bunch of different arts combined together.
Yeah.
It's cool. So you've actually fulfilled your art desire in a work way too.
Yeah. And like as a kid growing up too, I always thought how cool it would be to be a guidance counselor, but I never liked our guidance counselors at high school and stuff. Like I didn't want to tell people to go to school, but that idea of like helping people refine that purpose and like looking at and connecting all those dots. And that's something Bill and I have talked about quite a bit, is like, if you looked at my life on paper, it doesn't make any sense. Like working for Disney, studying in Australia, doing interior design, like none of it adds up. But when you can actually lay it all out and look at all the pieces, it's so cool to see how interconnected everything is and how connected the different connections are and the different experiences are. So that's something with doing camp. I'm kind of bringing all of those pieces and experiences together and into it, which I think the more you can experience, just the more fulfilled you are, at least for myself.
Right. Your camp would be excellent for around that age, like grade 12 age, where they're deciding to go to school and stuff, where they had a week to themselves and stopped being told by everybody what to do, what school to go to, what subjects, and just go have a bit of, that would be excellent for someone at their turning point in life.
Yeah, it would be amazing.
It'd be one built-in guidance counselor without being told a single thing. It's just your self-guiding. Self-guiding without... That'd be an excellent time in someone's life.
Yeah. Because, how many things have you discovered as an adult that you had no idea about in high school when you were trying to pick your career?
In high school, it's like rush, right? Like, okay, you got to do this, register for this. You got to apply for these universities so early before you even decide
what you're doing.
Before you've even graduated, right? You're applying for your next step. It's like they're almost pushing you. Come on.
Make a decision that's going to last for the next 40 years of your life when you don't even know who you are yet.
Isn't it odd that that's kind of the overarching theme of high school? You just kind of realizes you're being discouraged to be in the now. Yeah. It's all thinking about future.
Yeah.
Isn't that's like such a shit trajectory for your life?
Where you're finding yourself probably the most in high
school.
You're
in the most chaos.
Everything matters.
Your hormones, everything's crazy. Yeah. And they're saying, don't think about right now. Think about 20 years from now all
Here's
the
some
time.
More stress.
Yeah.
You got to decide your whole life. I still haven't decided my whole life.
No wonder it's so hard to figure out who you are. Like,
I don't even know if that's even a concept. You know, like what you're doing for the rest. I don't know what I'm doing for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm working with mine. I'm going to do a podcast.
You're going to go to the gym.
Later. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's up right now. But to have an idea what you're going to do the rest of your life, that is madness. And to tell kids that they're graduating.
This is your expectation.
First
line, what will you do for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
But even as a kid, we ask kids, like, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that's a question you get from day one.
Yeah.
And it's an easy conversation because so many people recognize themselves in their day job that that's what we ask kids. And so we're taught from whatever age.
Right. Yeah,
you should aim towards a career.
Exactly.
But,
all these epiphanies just happening out of nowhere here.
This has been great.
Yeah.
Way too much brain power. Now I got to go get a hit.
They'll distract you.
Balance things out, whack it around a bit.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Is there anything else you want to cover or talk about?
No, the inner child stuff, like, did that cover it?
Yeah, no, I just am curious. It's one of those things, as I said, I'm interested in hearing more about this whole aspect of things. And that's one part that, I mean, a lot of people have childhoods in a varying spectrum. And anyway, I'm very curious to think more about my childhood in an odd way, you know? So anyway, this connecting with your inner child, I'm like, I don't know, my inner child got a lot of holes poked in him. So It's
Yeah.
The other piece to that if your inner child and your childhood, if you don't think of it with fond memories or there's something that you would like to change, there is no one telling you that you can't do what you wanted as a child now. But we're taught to grow up, be respectful, right? You can go play with Lego, even if you didn't have Lego. Like maybe your parents couldn't afford Lego as a kid. Go buy yourself some Lego and go play with Lego now.
Yeah.
Like you can fulfill what that inner child is missing. And a lot of times through the inner healings, a lot of what it is it's what we were missing or the moments that we wish we had that we could fulfill now. So why not?
I became a firefighter after my 30s
Yeah.
because I've wanted to.
Perfect.
So I was 33.
You're not
Yeah.
thinking of it right now? You just have a Lego date.
Yeah.
Get like a couple big Lego kits. Be like,
Just
I don't know,
smash it all on the floor.
quickest
Have at it.
person to build a sick tower or something.
But that kind of stuff is used in like
know what I mean?
professional development now.
Oh yeah.
Because it gets you, like who can build, like the tallest tower. Go pick 5 items from around your house. Who can
They
build the
do
tallest?
that now at the mine hiring, eh?
Yeah.
Legos?
They give you a Lego kit,
Nice.
and you have to do it as a group, and they watch the group act with each other,
Nice.
and that's part of the hiring process.
Interesting. Yeah.
I didn't even think of that till you just brought that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many
that's
things you can use
perfect
Lego
case of
for.
All these skills that we've learned as a child.
it. Multi-use Lego.
Yeah. So yeah, it plays into your everyday, like your inner child, and just I think people that are fulfilled in life are connecting with that part of them
Sure.
still.
And if anyone listening doesn't believe in this voodoo, I will have some feedback. So I'm going to make some appointments here, and we'll see what's up.
We'll talk about it in a couple episodes or something. on
Yeah.
our
In a
own,
couple
yeah.
episodes from now, I'll
Yeah.
have a review.
Okay,
I'll
perfect.
I'll let the folks know what I think.
Yeah,
I won't hold back. I'll tell everyone my honest opinion.
Yeah.
But I'll come with an open mind.
yeah,
That's for sure. Because I think too, if nothing else, placebo effect can be an amazing thing.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
Yep. Just allowing yourself to enjoy something is
Yeah.
a skill in itself,
Yeah.
regardless of what it is.
Right?
Right. There's a lot of guilt associated with pleasure in general.
Just
So,
even for some people, just saying yes to exploring that avenue
Yeah.
is hard.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's to some people that'd be really hard.
Yep. And a lot of people, like, it's confidential, it's private because
Yeah.
they're not confident in sharing that because it is such a big step for some people to take that. So with any of that stuff too, right? Like having that confidence just to say yes to yourself. Like
Yeah.
if there's a part of you and you get even like this tiniest little butterfly feeling that you should do it, then anything like that, take that as a sign that your soul is kind of like lighting up at the thought of it and wants you to push further.
Yeah. I'm all about it.
Yeah.
I hear you and I agree with you.
Perfect.
So I try to just do everything I want to do.
Perfect.
I guess so. The bank doesn't seem to think so.
Yeah.
they like it.
I mean, maybe don't look at our bank accounts.
Yeah.
To,
That statement's not going anywhere.
yeah.
Maybe my choices just get expensive. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
One interesting conversation this has been. I had I really didn't know what to expect from it.
Me either. So this has been good.
And
good.
yeah,
Where do people find you if they want to check stuff out?
Instagram's probably the easiest. We do have campmaven.ca and the mavenproject.ca, but Instagram or Facebook. So Ruth Montgomery 89 or the Maven Project.
sweet.
Do you want to touch on the summer project too at all for next year or cottage and
camp?
stuff? Yeah.
The cottage?
Yeah.
Like the rentals?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we also
Why not?
have a rental property in Kingsbridge. So a cottage right on the lake. So yeah, you can find it at the Lady Huron Cottage and just follow along. It's been a fun
Yeah.
project, the
Sweet.
design side of things.
Are you near the 9 Mile guy, Pat Boucher?
I have no idea.
Oh, he's got a place out there on the water.
Yeah, in Kingsbridge. Down,
Yeah, in Kingsbridge, yeah.
Just
It's
past
gotta
the
be.
church.
It's not that big a place.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
Yeah.
I figured. There's only like a few houses in the area he's in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cool.
maybe.
And they can rent that out?
Yeah.
Girls only?
No,
No,
no, no,
everybody.
Guys too?
Yeah.
Guys and girls?
Yeah,
That's
sleep
how it should be.
sex.
Co-ed.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Camps, one sex.
yeah.
Cottage, co-ed.
Cottage is
Faux
purely
show.
just a
Do whatever.
beautiful escape on the lake. Nothing to
Sweet.
do with the Maven
Nice.
Project. Yeah.
I might take you up on that. You never know. I
Yeah.
just rented a hotel 5 minutes from my house the other night.
Perfect.
Went to the Ben Miller Inn for the first time in my life.
Yeah.
What a beautiful spot.
Yeah. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous.
The lady's like showing me a map. I'm like, I hate to admit this, but I've lived here for like 20 something years.
At least you tried.
I know where I'm at.
I know where it
where
is.
I'm at.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Well, I appreciate your time and coming out, and
Yeah.
it's been good to sit down.
Very
Absolutely.
nice meeting you.
Yes, you too. Thank you for this. It's been
Yeah.
good.
And hopefully we could have you on again too, so that my feedback you could maybe explain, because I'm sure if it's anything like Muscle Bill, I
confusing.
see he's having a hard time
Yeah,
explaining,
articulating.
what he
Yeah.
experienced. So we might need a hand here.
Sure.
Might need you to come back.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Awesome.
Yeah, and as always, make an appointment and donate blood. Try and save a life.
Right on.
Bye.
Bye.